Every ultimate experience Ireland has to offer is always within reach with a 182 BMW. The ultimate bowl of chowder, seasoned with Atlantic salt air, the ultimate swim spot, even the ultimate scenic shortcut that happily takes way, way longer. Experience the ultimate with a 24-hour test drive from your local BMW retailer, because owning your new BMW is always within reach. Visit bmw182.ie.
Uplifting lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio.
And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Well. Good evening, everyone. This is Christina Eve. I am the host of Talk the Walk with Christina Eve. We are on Elation Radio. The producer is Kimmy Kim. She's the one right there playing the song. She's running everything from the back. Ready to go on this amazing show we have tonight. I am truly, truly excited. I really just want to get into this because I have a lot of questions. This is an amazing, amazing woman with a heart of gold. I've been putting that on social media. Everywhere is talking about this interview tonight. Yes, she has a heart of gold, and so I do want to, get into introducing her right here. Stephanie Perry Moore is a Christian fiction novelist. How are you doing tonight?
I am so excited to be with you. I'm great. And yourself?
Yay! I was reading over your bio and then having, the opportunity to speak to you, over the phone a few times recently. Just come to, hear more about you as the woman, as the wife, and then, reading into your website as well, just like blown away by you. I was like, where do I begin? You just have so many, over 60 titles for the youth market alone. So, wow, we are going to get into that more. You're inspiring the youth. I know, you're a speaker as well. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you. Who is Stephanie Perry Moore?
Wow. That's such a great question, Christina. Stephanie Perry Moore is a lady who wants to make a difference out there, as you mentioned, particularly in the area for youth and with literature, and just really trying to increase that rate. But I think if I could say anything about me, I want to help people inspire the dream inside of them. Life can be tough. Life can be hard, not always fun. But if you have a dream, something that just keeps you excited, something that pushes you past all the mess, you can reach greatness. And I think we're here to make this place better than we found it. And if we're pushing towards that, and if I can help folks in that, then I've done my part.
Wow. No, and that's absolutely amazing because I like how you brought up literature as well. And that is very, very important to me. I grew up with, I always say a wise man once told me, which happened to be my pops. He came up to me and he said, you will find, right? Yeah, it's my daddy. But he just said, you will find yourself in books. And he gave me this huge stack of encyclopedias. And within a year, I made it to state spelling bee, I did that 5 years in a row. But I had gone through abuse and things at the time. So books helped change my life around because I was able to read those, which led me to, the ultimate, the Bible. So I just wanted to point out, you discussing literature because I believe that that's so important right now. And speaking of which, can you share a little bit more? I mean, you just have such, an incredible, courageous, bold spirit about you. And I love that because I know that you pour that into these series that you have. So can you explain a little bit, more to the listeners tonight about your series?
Wow. Well, I love writing series for young people. I started about 20 years ago with a series called Peyton Sky, a sweet young coming-of-age story about a young lady who was trying to please this guy, but at the same time she's trying to please the Lord, as this was a Christian series, and she had to decide how do you do the two, or can you do both? And so as the story goes on with book one, she has to realize that, you know what, if I please the Lord, it doesn't matter who I displease. He is working all things out for my good. So she goes from the high school 12th grade into college through the series, as it's a 5-book series. And because I started that one with 5 books, I think, Christina, everything else I've been writing has been 5 books too, pretty much. So I've got spin-off stories from that one, as it was a popular series, and I deal with dating and, as you mentioned, abuse and bullying. The titles just go from one thing to another, as I love being in schools and talking to the actual students, and as well as the decision makers, and asking, you know what is it that you want to read? And every time I'm there, they give me something that's like, wow, that needs to be addressed. And so then I go and write another series on that. So they span the gamut between, most of my books series are for high schoolers, but I have several series that are also middle school, and I have 3 series that are for elementary age kids, and a couple adult titles too.
Wow. So, I mean, you just answered my next question in my head. I'm thinking, I wonder what the age range is. No, so that, and that's great. So, and how is that as a writer then to be able to change, like from writing with the middle school, then so would you have something for millennials, you think, or that, would they just kind of fit into those, like just in reading?
Absolutely, yes. So the millennials, new adult kind of thing is sort of the scanning that, but anywhere between that 12-year-old to really like 21, 22, it goes from millennial to new adult, and YA is in there as well. And I just want to write from the heart and want to write and to meet the needs. I will say that books, particularly ones that have minority characters in them, are, I'd say, at dire straits, because we just need to have more folks reading. And,
yes,
the publishers, if they don't see the numbers, then they can't keep the books in print or publish new ones for that particular age market. So to your point, when a young person can get in a book, it can take them from struggling in school to feeling self-confident about themselves, because then they can be successful in schools. And where there's success, there's greatness and hope. And it starts with reading. I am just loving how you said you sat down, you did the encyclopedia. Next thing you know, you're winning awards and contests. It's because you're seeping into your soul in ways you don't even know. So I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, because to me, reading is so fundamental because our minds are like sponges. We process constantly throughout the day. If you break that down, scientifically, biologically, I mean, that's so for me, just with all the information that you have via social media and, and I'll be quite honest, because I have to avoid it sometimes. I'll detox from social media. I could be off it for up to 30 days. But, yeah, so the influence that I like to encourage, and that's why I admire you with your series that you have, because you're focusing on, the different age ranges with our youth. If I can be really honest, some adult women need to be reading this book too, because there are some women that still struggle with, and it may have them in their adulthood could have started out at the Peyton Sky age. Wow. You know what I mean? So kind of reading from that book, she might, kind of go back and think, oh, wow, and then may want to apply that change, when your eyes are opened up, a new perspective, Oh,
I love how you mentioned that, because when you think about some popular titles like Harry Potter or Hunger Games or Twilight, those books were made extremely successful because the adults embraced reading the books as well, and it sort of took them back. They felt really comfortable about, I remember when, family-friendly kind of content. And so I think you're right. Though the book is set with a young person that is, 18 years of age, a lot of us can pull from that particular story and feel like, I still got to answer that question for myself. If I really love myself, if I really love a higher being, if I really love this world and want to contribute positively to it, how can I do that? Where's the self-check in the mirror? And though the character goes on that journey, the reader can go on that journey as well.
Wow, I love that, because I love how you can see that, development of a person, and when you're reading something, so for that, like we were saying, applying that to real life, people reading that, and so Peyton Sky, with that and her character alone, can you see that basically generally like what we were discussing just as far as, women across the board? And then with you speaking to people, and, how do you encourage and inspire that by applying the book?
Well, I just love it, because let's take Peyton, for example. Imagine you're in a journey in life and you feel like everything is together. You've done the right things. You are a good person, you have worked hard to be where you are, and then out of nowhere the rug is pulled from under you, and people that you thought had your back, people that you thought cared about you, people that you thought were on your team, you know, show that they are not that way. And I think so many of us can relate to that.
Exactly,
and that's what happens with Peyton at the beginning. So she has to decide and say, you know what, Lord, why are you abandoning me when I'm going through this challenge? And whether it's a health issue, a job issue, a person issue, a money issue, whatever children's issue, you know, whatever it is you're going through, when you feel like you're on that journey to do the right thing, Christina, you're like, Lord, why have you forsaken me? And so we have to get on our knees and we have to pray and we have to look at ourselves in the mirror to figure it out. And sometimes we just have to trust him. And I think that's what Peyton learned through the story, that hopefully would transcend her age, that would relish in the hearts of any reader.
Wow. And that is, so what do you think, in what ways, like us as parents, how could we, how could we bring, you know, different in our households, you know, with the Peyton as our daughter, like the same, you know, the age, how old is she in the series, like when it starts out?
She's 18. 17, 18, that's a great point. So she's a senior in high school, and that juggles on that line.
Because then you're a mother, right? Or do you have children?
I do. I'm a mom of 3, and it's just so neat to see them now grown in college. I shouldn't say too grown, but in college. And my son has just graduated. So we had 3 in college till last year when he graduated, and now the girls are there. And to your point, I think it's pretty interesting to say that with the Peyton books, she has a very great relationship with her father. He's a man that's a business owner. He has a car dealership. He loves his daughter, you know, want to sort of protect her. Now she's talking about dating, and, of course, he wants her to stay pure, so there's a little friction there. Don't do as I do, do as I say kind of thing. He knows where he was in his youth. But really cute story and loving relationship between the father and daughter. It's the mother and daughter relationship that is a little strained in the book and has to come a full circle with the Lord's help to intervene for them getting on the right plane. So for parenting, whether you're close with your child or whether you have issues with your child, the book is from both perspectives, and both relationships are strengthened. So don't be too easy on your kid and be their friend, but at the same time, you don't want to be their enemy. So what's the balance? And the book, what's the balance? It brings that to life.
It really does. So that's something. And then tell me a little bit more about you going to film school.
Well, the goal for me has always been to turn the books into television and film. And if I really go back to 7th grade, like when I love talking to young people in school, and I do that throughout the year to encourage them to know that they can reach their dreams, I have to tell the real story. When I was in 7th grade, it's when I had this eye-opening experience and really felt like I was called to write, but not write novels and books and such. That's when I felt like I was supposed to write for the screen or produce or do something with television and film. I mean, it was just so deep in my spirit and heart that I can't believe I've gotten in my own way over the years and have made what was so clear such a hard road to sort of get to where I ultimately felt like I was supposed to be. And I like to tell young people or anybody out there with a dream that it's still possible, but definitely don't mess yourself up. So what do I mean by that? So I say to kids, and particularly kids that are struggling with anything particular with school, I'm like, okay, author, 60-plus titles. What do you think was my best subject when I was in school? Like, of course, what was I great at? Can you tell me, Christina, what do you think that was for me?
Cool.
What was my best subject? Would you think? I'm an author, all these titles.
Well, I mean, literature, reading, history.
That's right. That's exactly
English,
what they say.
yeah.
But here's the thing. No, and I was like, what grades do you think I would have rocked in there? And, of course, they're like A plus, B. I was like, unfortunately, no. A lot of times us adults have to be vulnerable when we want the kids to know that, or the young people to know that they can do it too and mistakes are okay, but we don't always tell them our struggle. We just sometimes show them our success. And so I had to say, no, I wasn't. That was my worst subject. The area in which I knew I wanted to be in was the subject in the area in which I really struggled. I was a class clown a little bit, though I was a cheerleader and had great parents who were educators. My father's a superintendent to this day. My mom's a retired educator. So education was big. And here I am cutting up in the one class that could help my future. So I say, it's kind of funny, right? You know? So I say to kids, so don't get in your own way.
And then, but is Peyton a little bit of you then, or, you know, as far as like making that decision?
Well, it's so funny because her initials are PS, and when I was her age, mine was SP. So I did flip the initials, and I say I changed the story to protect the guilty. But no, it's definitely not about me. I definitely took aspects of my own life. My father had a car dealership then, though he's now back in education. You know, so there I had a younger brother. She has a younger brother. His name is Perry. I paid homage to my family. That was my name. So I cheered.
Nice.
So there were some similarities, but definitely a completely made-up, fictitious, fun story. It's just where the brain takes you. But I share that story about my own struggles to say it doesn't matter where you start. If you push and you work hard and you get with people that care about you, as I had a great educator that told me you can do anything, and she helped me go from being a struggling reader to going to honors English. We didn't have AP at that time, in 1 year. And so I turned it all around because I grind. And we all can do that, as you're so successful with all the things you do, because you wrap it in your heart and your soul and you embrace it. And we just got to teach a worth ethic to our young people so that they know that the sky's the limit.
And it's life. You know, life is all about choices. And I think that's where, you know, kids have, I think nowadays through the social media influence, that's why to me it's important, you know, as far as pushing that literature and reading more. But social media with that influence, you don't see them, you know, I honestly miss the shows. I grew up with I remember watching the Leave It to Beaver. Like there was Little House on the Prairie, you know, the Brady Bunch, Jefferson, you know. So you started seeing more of. Then it started moving into the dysfunctional families. Like you got more of like Married with Children, and then you got these reality shows where, I mean, you know, everybody's playing that person. That's like, where is the positive influence? You know, where is that? So that's what I'm encouraged about as far as, you know, those authors like you that are writing and, you know, but it's writing not more so for entertainment, but to literally inspire, to motivate, to empower, you know, and to equip their minds as well, because you never know how you can touch one person reading that to where, you know what, this, oh my gosh, you know, like where they're going to relate on so many different levels. And like how you were saying as well, because, you know, parents in reading that can relate too. So that's amazing. What author do you look up to? Do you have an author that you are inspired by, or?
Yes, I guess I'm not necessarily a hidden closet romance writer, but a reader. But Beverly Jenkins is just one of my favorite authors out there. She writes from a perspective of historical books and things, and I just love everything that she puts on the prose, as it speaks to my heart to stretch and pull and take the reader to a vivid place where you can just see the scene and really feel like you're there, not a fly on the wall, but someone, you know, in the room with those characters, and you learn from them with history. And I also love Vanessa Davis Griggs. She's a Christian fiction author. You know, Ruth Watson, she writes historical romance. And then Victoria Christopher Murray is a guru in the space. And these ladies are dear friends of mine. There's Robin Jones Gunn, who also does Christian YA, so I really love the books that she has that speaks. And I tell you what, Alex Haley, if I could sit with him, you know, and go back and just say, teach me all that you know, he, again, is one of my favorites as well with Roots. It just takes me to a place that makes me want to jump up and down.
Really? No, that's amazing. And what do you think it is that makes books change people so much? I mean, you see all these like with self-help books and You know, what do you think? How do you think that changes a person then, just by reading? I mean, I'm walking, living proof.
Well, I think that's such a great piece, and that's what I try to do with even my fiction titles, that though it's a story, each book has to have a purpose and a point, like nonfiction, like self-help, like motivational books or Christian nonfiction books, or to your point you touched on earlier, ultimately the Bible. What is it, something about this book that if a person picks it up, they can walk away when they're done, leave there feeling like they are better because they read it? What's the book's purpose? What's the book's point? And that's what I try to put into my fiction books, so that the reader is feeling like, though it's a journey, though it's something they're going on, that they are like, you know what, I want to get this point. I don't have to stress out so much. I don't have to have it all figured out. As long as I'm daily trying to be better, I'm going to have issues with people. I'm not going to, always get it all right. But because I read this book, and the issue might have been bullying, I now can handle that a little bit more. Or because the character was flawed, but at the end the character tried to make their life better, I can apply those skills to my own life and be better. So that's what I love about books, that you can get into a new world with yourself and let your mind
Yep, and then you look at a lot of movies, TV series, and shows, and a lot of that comes from books, like Harry Potter. Right? Yeah, like you're talking about, and that so that the books that to me is just so important. And then, what about your most difficult part of writing? Because I know there's going to be authors or aspiring writers that are listening, and writing. What was the most difficult for you? And because you have over 60 titles on your belt. So what would that be for you as a writer? Like what would it, and author too?
I appreciate that. So it took me 7 years to get the first book published, and that's a lot of no's. That's a lot of people saying your stuff isn't good, you're not worthy, we don't want you, and that was hard. And I had to continue to rewrite and revise. And if I'm being completely vulnerable, and just giving hope to anyone that's out there, even though I have 60 titles, I'm trying something new now with writing something that is my first time that's sci-fi. And so now I'm back in this cycle of, okay, well, no. So it's like, well, wait a minute. I have all these books. What do you mean? What are you telling me? No. And so it's rewriting and revising. And so I get it when it's hard. And there's a lot of people self-publishing. They're saying, you know what, I want to take the bull by the horn, and I don't want anyone to stop me from reaching my goal. And there's so much wonderful material out there to help people that are self-publishing, whether you want an agent, whether you want to go straight to the publisher. The internet is a wealth of information, and I would encourage anyone out there that wants to write to use it as a resource to find out how to do either step, self-publish the correct way, to get an agent, or to go directly to the publishers.
That's what I was going to ask you, too. Like, what would be, because I mean, there's pros and cons to a lot of things, and then, so some people, self-publishing is the way because, and then you would hear, no, finding an agent, so that's what I was going to ask you, too, because, that would be, so, just do the research, look into it before jumping into anything. That's probably, can't even imagine. Like, so did you ever have that, what is it, that writer's block? Has that ever happened to you?
You know what? It doesn't normally happen to me, only because I feel like that is my strength as a writer. I've always been creative. I have several different series inside. They just continue to pour out. I can't write them fast enough. Now, of course, while you're writing something, then you have to tighten up and get the X's and O's and all those things a little bit better. So that's where my weakness, still what I struggled with seventh grade, the grammatical things and the prose, that's one of the pieces where I can always grow. And so I think as an author or someone that's aspiring to be one, figure out where your weakness is and work on that. And whether you want to do the research on which direction you want to take to get published, I like to say try them all. And, you know, particularly if you're a person of faith, I think the Lord will lead you with which way is best for you, meaning if no one wants to publish you, self-publish it. If you want to be more in control, self-publish it. If you want to have, you know, not necessarily more respect for your project, but if you want it to be recognized more nationally, then that's when it needs to be nationally published. And it's a difficult process for a reason. And people need to understand that you get credibility when someone publishes your work versus you self-publishing it. But it doesn't mean self-publishing is bad. And the agent can broker that deal, but it's tough to get an agent sometimes because they say you can't get an agent unless you've been published. You can't be published unless you have an agent. So it's like, hell,
wow. But you're over here making me want to start writing a book tonight. Yeah, I'm getting you're inspiring me. Wow.
Well, you're too positive. I think you need to because you got so much to share with us as you do on your radio show and your TV shows and all you do. I think we all have a book, and sometimes books are personal. Sometimes people don't want to necessarily get them out to the mass. They want to get them out to a select audience. And even in that case, I say just right.
Wow. Ooh, see, there you go. That needs to be your slogan. Just right. That's it. Yeah, they're just right. I'm always going to remember that with you now. I'm not going to. So what about your best and what about your best accomplishment?
I think getting the first book
I was looking
published.
at your bio. I'm going, woo, this woman is amazing. I mean, you have a lot
after 7 years, Christina, and being told no, I think it was a thing that helped me keep going. And from that time up until really now, I have never been, I've had a book or two or three or four every year since then. So when people look at 60 books just under my name, they feel like, oh, wow, but that's over, 20-year span. And I'm going to have a new one that will come out in September. It's called Getting Home through Learner, and I'm very excited that this is the first time I'll be in a series where the other authors are not me. So you can read my book, but if you like the series, there are going to be other wonderful authors who are writing on the same thing. So very excited to expand my wings and try something different. And,
that's interesting.
It's very neat. All the other series I've written every book in. So this is the first time where I'll be sharing that with someone, with other authors. But that book drops in September, and again, it's called Getting Home, and it's for young people and those struggling readers and writers out there. So really excited that it's an educational book and trying to branch into that sci-fi place. So the whole series is called The Attack on Earth, and it's about what happens when there is something insane, when there's a takeover from this extraterrestrial force, and what happens to these kids that are at different places in their life when all our electronics and stuff is shut down because there's an attack on Earth. What happens? So that's immediately where the series, each book starts. And my character is on a bus when the world is attacked with her younger brother.
What?
Right.
See, that's a movie in itself right there.
Look at you.
I mean, yeah, I'm over here just thinking, oh, my gosh, because I'm a huge, that is amazing. So how did you come across that idea with you guys, coming together like this and writing?
This particular series came from the publisher.
That's just an excellent idea. Is that just like
it is.
You know what? Let's just.
I think one character is in a airport when they're about to go fly when the attack on the Earth. So it's neat, wonderful scenarios in the books if for those kids that like to dream and dare and like the Hunger Game type books. This is an adventure that they will be on from start to finish. But at the same time, there is scholastic pieces that go with it to help grow the young person in their reading experience. So if you're at one particular Lexile score, which is something that helps you, because what's interesting for me and why I really have a passion for this is because, remember, I was not reading up to par. So there is 82% of our kids in urban settings that are not, by 8th grade, that are not reading on grade level. And that's scary.
Oh, wow. 82%?
82%. And so,
yeah, that is scary.
how do you grow them and get them on grade level? Well, they've got to go backwards. Well, eighth grader's not going to want to read a book that's second grade on a second grade reading level, because most of the time a second grade reading level book will be about a kid that just started elementary. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow. So how do we bring about change in that aspect then? What do you think we should? What is it that we could do then to improve that?
Books. Yep, high-low books. So what does that mean? It's like there is a high interest, but it's a low reading level. So though the characters are middle school, high school, when you're reading the book, you don't feel like you are, dumb or, you're not smart. You get through the book. And when you get through that one, if it's a series, you can go back and read the next. Well, you know what's happening? You're starting to do what happened with your dad when he put those encyclopedias in front of you. Now you're building muscle memory with your reading. And you take a test, you pass it. You take another test, you pass it. You're interested in the characters. You're understanding what comprehension is about. So now you're going on from the second grade reading level to third grade reading level, and you're ready for another series. You read all those. Now you're on the fourth grade reading level, and now your reading level has increased because you've taken the time to develop those skills that you were lacking, because most of our young people not on grade level, Christina, they're just not reading. And you're going from reading those books to being able to do better with your math problems, with being able to do better with social studies. Ultimately, then your grades improve, your behavior improves, studies have shown, and then you'll be able to do better on standardized tests.
Oh, so that's just as simple as, like myself as a parent, or even for those that, don't have kids, but you have a niece, a nephew, and, cousins are always around. But yeah, so it's just because I'm guilty of that too. When I would sit down and read with my kids, we would, and then sometimes, we wouldn't. We'd sit down and watch TV. But that's just so important, and I believe vital enough, for literature to be implemented again, with our youth and our teens. So, oh my gosh. And then so I have to go back to film. I really, really do, because speaking of that sci-fi book, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm thinking of that sci-fi book, got me thinking about movies. So Peyton Sky, is that something that you would move in? What are your plans with that series?
Well, it's so exciting because Peyton is still my best-selling series to date, and it's where everything started. It's 5 books in the series, but book 1 is my best-selling title ever. So though the book is called Staying Pure, we've been working on a film called Real Love as we've tested it with the market, and young people are like, all right, Staying Pure, not trying to go to a movie with that title, so it's like, okay, well, what would you want to see? And love and what's real about it just keeps coming to mind. But a wonderful coming-of-age story where you've got the debutante ball, you've got a little bit of football, so you've got Valentine's, you've got love, but you've also got a sweet family and a message. And to be able to see that come to life on screen, because so many of our young people aren't really reading but still need the message of the story, how can you put that out there? So that's the goal we're working on, and truly excited to come across amazing people that also believe that their wealth, their dollars, their resources they would want to put into seeing something like that come to life. And then with, of course, different movie companies out there, distribution companies, they're excited to see, okay, when something's greenlit, get it to us so that we can put you in the queue to get it out there. So with independent books and self-publishing, that's what independent film looks like, that you just take the bull by the horn and do it yourself. So got close a couple of times. Tyler Perry had picked a piece, and had some amazing people that had gotten us to him. But, he was so kind in saying, you don't stop. You got to go for your dreams, and you see his story and how he went from one place to another. And so I'm just encouraged to know that I'm not going to stop as long as God puts me with great people that want to see it happen. Keep that dream alive and make it possible. So I'll be interested to get your thoughts on, is film possible?
Yes, I mean, see, and I myself, I've been in film, entertainment, fashion, beauty industries, and media for 27 years. I jumped into this at 16 years old, getting into, makeup.
Wow.
But, so behind the scenes, post, pre-production, acting, front of the camera, everything, art direction, grip, so anything and everything. I don't mind, obviously, rolling my sleeves up. But yeah, so that's such an incredible idea as far as moving that into a feature film, because like you were saying, 82%, as far as the reading. So that in itself, having a feature film might encourage the young, people that are watching this to pick up that book. Because if you think of the Vampire series one with Robert Pattinson, and that got people reading the book. There were certain movies I watched, where I'm watching the movie and you hear someone, oh, the book's better. There's a book on this. I'll end up reading the book and I won't finish watching the movie, So I'm encouraged that, and I firmly believe, just hearing you, hearing you share a little bit more as well, and hearing, your heart, that, this is going to be a really, really good thing. And, with Tyler Perry, he didn't say, oh, no, I don't want it because. He was just saying, I believe that God positions people at the right place at the right time on his timing, it's for everything to come into fruition. So he knows what he's doing through this series. So I'm, really inspired, and I'm moved as well. And, having that experience and stuff through film, I just see God taking this far for you.
Wow. I receive all of that and so appreciate that good word. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I do. Like I was saying, the one with the heart of gold. Yeah, like just right. Yeah, oh my gosh, you're just so amazing. So you have a website. Do you want to share your website with everyone? Because I do got a couple of text messages already asking me if you have a website or how yeah, we have some more time, but because, the text messages, so I don't know. Yeah, if you can share your website, please.
I would love to. It is www.stephanieperry, Perry, more, MOORE.com. So it's my full name, and Stephanie is STEPHANIE, again, Perry, PERRY, more, MOORE.com. And then their Facebook page under my name as an author the same way. And I'm also connected to a brand from Thomas Nelson called Sisters in Faith with a partner of mine named Michelle Clark Jenkins, who's also an author. And we have several wonderful women's material for just wanting to do better, encouraging and empowering women to live boldly for him. So that Facebook page, we put out something daily to inspire people. So please get connected with me on social media. Thank you for allowing me to share that.
Yes. Okay, and then the flyer as well that was made in promoting the show tonight. Yeah, your website information is on that flyer. So, we thank Miss Visa Vidalis for setting us up with that flyer. But and I want to continue. I keep going back to Peyton. Is that not in her itself and then the series, but and as far as the movie and as far as that series, what would you is that something that is in the books as well, like on a national? That's what getting another text message on. What are your plans with that series? Are you going to be doing like a book tour? Are you being a speaker as well? Is that something that you would consider going to schools with these books?
Absolutely. Love going to schools and with Learner, the educational publisher. And the one that's
texting me is actually a teacher. I wanted to interject real quick. Yeah, she's actually a teacher, so she's texting me, asking me.
That's
great. Interesting. So there we go. Yeah, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm so excited because that's the place that I love, probably second best to being in a movie theater, is being in a classroom full of kids. First place is the movie theater, just sitting there dreaming and understanding that I want people to come into a theater one day and leave out better than they come in because they've seen a film, But with the young people, and you're in the classroom with them, I just love it because I'm able to be a stakeholder with the teachers, letting them know that we're all in this together. You know, students included. We all have a piece and a part to play to let any young person know, no matter where you are in life, you can reach your goals and dreams. And so I call it Operation Read. Reach every attainable dream.
Oh, I'm mad at you. Wait a second. I'm going to get my pen right here. Okay, do that again.
Yep, so Operation Read.
Okay, Operation Read. I know. I know it's someone else. Okay.
And it's Reach Every Attainable Dream. So I love going in with my father, who's an educator. He's kind of the comedian. Though he's an educator, he's really funny. It's the weirdest thing. And my husband is more like you can never say a Martin Luther King, but a T.D. Jakes type style person. And so he's got that preacher type, commanding type voice.
Yeah.
And so the three of us go and we speak in schools together as well on particular topics under Operation Read.
Uh-huh. Wow,
so it's
that is
fun.
Absolutely amazing. I love it. Okay, so that's I'm definitely going to get you out here then with these the schools out here. That would be absolutely amazing.
And with Learner for any teacher, their teacher resource guides. So that's the other piece. A lot of my books have teacher resource guides and student pieces where they're able to, again, go online and take the test from the books to help them increase their scores. And summer reading is here. So if you've got a young person, just put a book in front of them this summer. Enjoy it with them. To your point, maybe go to a movie, and if there's a book from that movie, go and read the book after. Just make it fun, because if adults are engaged with reading, it trickles down to the young person too.
Yeah, well, just like, no, that's an excellent idea. It's even going to the library, you could actually rent a movie that has, the book as well, and, maybe kind of rent both of them. But that's an excellent idea right there.
And the library is an excellent resource. Perfect point.
Oh, I know. My sister and I were talking about, which is hilarious. I was like, I remember going to the library and you had to go to the index card. Like the big, I remember cause I was like, where have I been? And I was at the library and, I still use a computer to, wait, what? Where's the index? Oh, she's looking at me like, what cave have you come out of?
I know.
But I said, yeah.
Good old days is what we're going to call it. The good old days.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm there now. I get to say, I remember when, driving by, what is, my son, what is that? That's a phone booth. What? No. But yeah, things of, but that's one thing that will never go out of, style per se is reading.
Wow.
Yeah,
and I
love
that I also have some flip books. So if you're on my website, those are some that people really love. One side is a girl story, and if you actually flip the book over, it's the boy story. So it's two books in one.
Oh.
And it's I have a multicultural series, and then I have a series and that's called Grove Hill Giants, and then a series that is more African American, and those are Lockwood Lions. But the two schools play each other, so it's 10 books each, 20 stories total in those books. But it's really creative the way that particular publisher put those out there, Saddleback. Really, really lovely books.
And people can order your books through your website, is that correct?
My books are available wherever books are sold, so you can always order them from any bookstore you're in. If they don't have them on the shelf, please encourage them to put them on the shelf, because sometimes when just folks that are listening encourage your stores to put them on there, they would house the books. So that's always a great way for my books to continue moving. And, yes, you can get them on my website. You can get them at Amazon. And there are e-books as well. All my books are e-books. So we want to make them available and some are even audio books. So depending upon how people would like to listen or read, we want to make it available.
Wow, that's amazing. And then that is something, a book tour in the works?
Yeah, a book tour is in the works. We're pretty excited about that, coming not just in the South, but across the country. to talk about Getting Home, which is the new title, as well as the Peyton Sky series, the first one. So it's coming full circle from where you start to where you end up currently, and every book in between. So pretty happy to get going in the fall with a new book series leading up to possible film stuff.
Yeah, so those that are listening in, if you would like her to come speak at your school, bring anyone that would like to sponsor a school and maybe ordering the series, there's a lot of, please contact Stephanie Perry Moore. Get in touch with her through her website or her Facebook page. And, yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So get these books out there and encourage reading. Oh, my gosh, that is so – and what are your plans for the rest of the, like just in writing? Actually, I'm looking at my notes right here, and you have contributed to writing, is it Bibles as well? Like you've done some editing?
That's correct. So that was the series I was talking about, Sisters in Faith, the brand that I mentioned we have a Facebook page for that. It is a Bible, and it's 3 other ancillary products that are all around that whole encouraging and empowering women to live boldly for Him. And so thank you for mentioning those. Really fun pieces. One for single moms. It's called Raise Him Up. It's a book that my husband wrote, the title, and I co-wrote some of it with him. But he was raised by a single mom, ended up playing in the NFL. A lot of people enjoy him in terms of his presence with encouraging people out there. He's a big brand with his Georgia Tech and Falcons lift up. He's known as one of the best inspirational sports pregame speakers out there. And so he writes this book to moms to let them know that, you know what, you're not alone. Here are things to implement in your son as a single mom that can help make him an amazing man. And so that book is done really, really well. And then my partner Michelle has a great book that's just a devotional. Imagine if women of the Bible could speak to the modern day woman. What would they say? What kind of nuggets could we take from these ladies to make our So it's a really great book. And then we've got a devotional that's out there as well. So, yeah, love writing those. And then I participated in as an editor for the Women of Color books, the cookbooks, the Men of Color books, that whole line and series. So it's been fun to do even Real, which was a Bible zine for hip-hop Bible. So a lot of fun Bible products I've had the opportunity to work on as well.
Oh, wow. Well, and you need to throw a cookbook in there somewhere now.
You know what? Ironically, I've worked on one before, and a lady has me looking at one for her now. So it's fun when projects are on the horizon, because that's where the faith walk comes in. To your point on, like, which way do we go? Lord, what do you want me to write? You know, these whole things. And so it's just neat to hopefully that now is the time where the books themselves, since that pipeline is changing, the focus is now on film, because Atlanta, the area in which I live in, we're known as the next new Hollywood kind of thing, and competing with the likes of the great New York and the wonderful L.A. And, you know, Atlanta is a wonderful mecca of so much richness when it comes to film and television. And so I think it's for such a time as this, the Lord has been putting all this stuff together, and we're it's time to move to a new season.
Amen to that. Wow. And yes, we have, I'm just like, I'm excited. So yeah, you have inspired me tonight. You most definitely have inspired me. You do. You're just an absolutely amazing woman. Your husband's an amazing man. You guys are just, wow. So I just pray. I mean, I know there's going to be, you know, some big things happening, big things. So, you know, you have this movie coming up, the Real Love, and, you know, even with the tour, and I know it's just going to bless many people. So with the last few minutes that we have, please, what would you just give, whatever comes to heart and mind, that everyone that's listening, those that are going to hear the recording, what would you like to say to them before we close out?
I just appreciate your show, that you encourage people and interview people to give folks, your listeners, hope. And if there's anyone out there that's struggling, if there's anyone out there that wants to be in a better place than they sort of think they are right now, if life is hard or you don't think your dream is ever going to come true, I would say to you to not lose hope, to believe that things can happen for you, but to put yourself in a position that no matter if it's your dream is one day away or if it's many years away, you still got to work the process. You got to be excited about the journey. You can't quit on yourself because you don't know who the Lord will send. You don't know who also has a heart to help. You don't know when your next opportunity is right around the corner. And if you just kept going, if you just kept walking, if you just kept believing, if you just kept trying, before you know it, you're going to be exactly where you wanted to be because you didn't quit. So don't quit out there. Let's be in the encouraging business together. And when I heard a sermon on yesterday from the pastor say, it's two kinds of people in this world, those that are problem makers, that cause our problems, or those that are problem solvers that want to be about their Father's business. So I would just leave a closing word to say, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, just try to be better. If we look at ourselves in the mirror and say, how can we be better, the rest of the stuff, including your dreams, including your hopes, including you looking at the glass half full so that you can get through any problems, will be okay, because it won't be so bad because you yourself are trying to be better. And when you're better, the world is better and all is right.
Wow. And with that, yes, we are closing. Thank you. Oh, my gosh, for being on with us tonight, for taking the time. Stephanie Perry Moore, her website, www.stephanieperrymore, PerryMoore.com. People, reach out, get those books. If you would like to sponsor, yes, please follow her on social media. Just be on top of that movie. National tour. If you want her to go into your city, you guys could actually message me as well. I will keep in touch with her. We will have her back on when that movie comes out. And Elation Radio and Magazine, we will be tag teaming to follow her while she is on her tour to give you guys some behind the scenes. And we'll be documenting, and just I will be that shadow fly on the wall. But we are excited, yes. So thank you again for being on tonight. Kimmy Kim, take us out with this song. Please tune in every Monday night, everyone. We are here on Elation Radio. Thank you so much. To Talk the Walk with Christina Eve. God bless.
God bless.
Feel defeated and you're down for the count. You feel like life has thrown you blows and God ain't been around. But I've come to encourage you, so hold your head high. Know that God is in your corner now. Inner life, you are a winner. You just can't lose. Who burn a cave more than a conqueror? Jesus in you. You are a winner. You are born to win. More than a conqueror, power within. You are a winner. Somebody's saying to me now, you just don't